If you appreciate excellence in all facets of automotive design, you owe it to yourself to spend time in a Corvette.
It doesn't take much research online to figure out that most people will tell you the C4 Corvette is the worst generation of them all. And I am a bit of a contrarian, but in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why I think this is actually the best generation of Corvette to buy. And that's not just something I'm saying on video for the sake of doing the YouTube. I actually spent my own money on one of these cars. $10,000 for this car, which, considering how special of a vehicle it feels and everything that you get, is actually a pretty kick-ass deal. For number 5 on this list, I want to talk about one of the reasons that really any Corvette is a car that's worth shopping for. And it's because these are very special vehicles. They feel very special because they are 2-seater. They're dedicated sports cars, so there's no seats behind us. They are very low, very wide, very long hood, V8 powered, so they sound good. You can get it with a manual transmission. They've got massive tires, so a lot of grip. It's a 275 width tire in the front of this ZR1 and a 315 on the rear, which is massive. Of course, limited slip differential, very quick ratio steering. So this car, again, it looks and feels very special to drive. I think it feels special in a way that a Mustang doesn't. The Mustang feels a little bit more average, more everyday than a Corvette.
What did you say?
Which, from the driver's seat, does have a more exotic kind of vibe to it. I'm not saying people aren't going to appreciate hearing that, but ultimately, I think it's true. The number 4 thing on this list is durability, and it's an important point to discuss on an older vehicle. This ZR1 is more special than most C4 Corvettes because this LT5 engine is dual overhead cam. It was designed by Lotus. It was built by Mercury Marine. This is an unusually exotic engine. And even so, these are actually generally pretty durable power plants. Our buddy, Jordan Townsend, down in Colorado Springs, has one of these with more than 150,000 miles on it. It's had a turbo kit on it in the past. It's his track car. It gets used pretty hard, and it still runs really well. Blows a little bit of oil, but you would kind of expect as much. And that being said, the majority of these cars run some variant of a 350 small block Chevy. It's an engine that's been around for a long time. It's an engine that's known to be very durable. And beyond that, you've got a very stout rear diff, half shafts. These are cars that you can drive hard, drive for a lot of miles, and not suffer a lot of breakdowns in. Now, the number 3 reason to shop around for a C4 is performance. Now look, ultimately, if all you want is performance per dollar, the C5 is going to be a better platform to start from. But C4s are still formidable cars. Low center of gravity, really good brakes, quick steering ratios. They're a lot of fun to drive, and you can even take a base C4 Corvette and turn it into a really good track day car. You can strip some weight out of it, massage the engine a little bit, and get a lot of performance from them. Certainly a lot more performance than you're going to get from a C3 Corvette or earlier, because as beautiful as those cars are, and as fun as they are to drive, early Corvettes, the ones that came before the C4, feel a little bit like a pickup truck with a fiberglass body on it. Now, I realize that there's more going on there than just that, but that is a little bit of the character of how they drive. But when the C4 Corvette came out, there were some huge technological improvements and advancements in engineering that make these drive significantly better than the cars that came before them. So if you want a car that's got a little bit of retro flair to it, but better performance than the much older Corvettes, then this is a pretty nice middle ground, especially if you opt for something like this C4 ZR1, which could have anywhere from 375 to 405 horsepower, depending on the year. They up the power output in '93. Or you could get something like a C4 Grand Sport, an LT4 powered car. It's got 330 horsepower. So those are pretty solid figures, and especially 400 horsepower, even by today's standards, is a pretty good amount. And you end up with a car that is kind of in the Goldilocks zone for performance, because it's a car that you could still throttle and drive hard on public roads without being at 2x, 3x the speed limit. And that's not always true of some of the newer Corvettes out there on the market. So it makes these really fun to drive. The number 2 great thing about the C4 Corvette is that this vehicle is old enough to look and feel retro in a way that makes this a more fun experience than some of the newer Corvettes, especially on the cheaper end of the spectrum, like the C5. Now again, the C5 is a better performer, but doesn't have a lot of the old school flair that the C4 does. The wedge shape of this car makes it pretty cool in itself. You've got this extremely long hood, of course, pop-up headlights. This particular car has this great transparent roof, which makes the interior of the vehicle feel very cockpit-like. It's kind of like you're in a fighter jet with that canopy over top. And especially on some of the early C4 Corvettes, the liquid crystal gauge cluster. Such a neat feature, especially at nighttime. It looks fantastic. I know they're not perfect. A lot of people will talk about those gauge clusters burning out and suffering failures. You can get them rebuilt, but I've really driven actually a lot of these cars, and I haven't personally seen many of them that had any issues. There's a few more retro features on this car that are pretty neat. One is the operation of this parking brake, which is fairly unusual and even convinces some people that it doesn't work correctly, but this is how it was designed. When you pull the parking brake up, it's in the way of getting in and out of the car, so you can just fold it down even while it's still engaged. And when you're ready to release the parking brake, pull some pressure on it, drop it down, now it's disengaged, pull it back up, and fold it out of the way. That was kind of a common feature on some older exotic cars, and it's cool to see here on the Corvette. I also really like the special tool that they give you to undo your roof panel. It actually says Corvette on it, comes with the car, and that is a pretty neat little item. And of course, for number 1, we have to talk about the most important thing that makes these cars desirable, at least to me, and that's value. Because you can pick up a C4 Corvette for very little money, all things considered. Now, C3s and C5s can also be pretty affordable, but on average, for a C3 or a C5 Corvette, you're gonna spend at least $10,000 to $20,000 typically. These C4s are at the very bottom level of depreciation. So you can pick up a nice standard C4 Corvette for $10,000 or less, and even a special model like this C4 ZR1 or a C4 Corvette Grand Sport, which are the most expensive versions of this car, are gonna go typically from $30,000 to $40,000, even on the high end. So you can get a lot of Corvette for the money with the C4 generation, and you get that nice balance of some pretty respectable performance, some fun retro features that make this car feel a little bit more special. And what more could you possibly want? Now, I am a huge fan of the C4 Corvette. I absolutely love these cars, if that's not clear. But even I have to admit, there are some flaws in these vehicles. Now, one of the most commonly talked about is the fit and finish, the construction. I think this is a great idea, this vehicle. Fantastic design, but not necessarily the best execution. And we're talking about GM in the 80s and the 90s. So yeah, you know, the interior squeaks and rattles a little bit. They're not the best constructed things. My car had a lot of trim that broke and cracked over time. So that is a little bit how these cars age. But I really think the biggest issue with these is that most of them get driven into the ground. They're so inexpensive, it's really difficult to find a good C4 Corvette. And I honestly think that's the main reason that a lot of people don't like these cars, is because they've never seen a nice one. Most of them are missing all of their paint, and they probably haven't run in 11 years. And so it just seems like a total POS. But if you can find yourself in a nice C4 Corvette somehow, which is actually possible, then you might be impressed at really how good of a car it is. They're fun to drive, they're pretty reliable, I think they're pretty good looking. They're absolutely not perfect cars, but all in all, if you can find a nice one, they're not that bad to live with.
While I do believe that C4 Corvettes are very solid cars in general, there are some common issues to look out for. For example, model year 84 C4 Corvettes had the Crossfire V8, which was not an easy engine to keep running, and for that reason I would generally avoid cars built in 84. Later model LT1 powered C4 Corvettes were nice because they had 300 horsepower, but those LT1 V8s also used the somewhat difficult OptiSpark ignition system that can pose some problems. Now, the vast majority of C4 Corvettes are automatics. However, if you find a manual transmission Corvette built before 1989 when they went to 6 speeds, it'll have a Doug Nash 4+3. It's an interesting transmission that I had in my 1988 Corvette, and it's a fun one to use. However, some people will tell you that the overdrive unit is very unreliable. That being said, you can improve the reliability of those units a lot by regularly changing the fluid in them. And then there are some other small problems like plastic headlight gears that can strip over time and fail to rotate the headlights, which are very easy to replace with brass gears that solves the issue. It can also be difficult to get these cars fully sealed off from the weather. So if you drive in the rain a lot, even if you have brand new weather stripping, you might get some drips of water in your lap and also hear some wind noise at high speeds.
What I think makes this C4 the sweet spot in Corvettes is the fact that this is a better performing car than C1 through C3, but it's more retro, so to me, more interesting than C5 and onward. Combined with the fact that these are also the least expensive ones to buy. Those two things considered really sums up a lot of, in my eyes, what makes this car such a good option for somebody that's shopping around for a fun car on a budget. And you may be wondering, if I love the C4 so much, why did I end up selling mine? It's really because I have a family heirloom car, an old Mercedes that's rear-wheel drive. We live here in Colorado, we have 4 seasons, so it kind of ended up just not making sense for me to have 2 rear-wheel drive vehicles when we live in a snowy climate. But I have since texted the really nice gal that bought my C4 Corvette and mentioned to her if she ever sells it, I will buy it back in a heartbeat, because I do really miss that car. And I absolutely love these vehicles, even more and more so as time goes on. So that's all for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Feel free to disagree with me, and we'll see you next time.
Corvette is the definitive expression of a high-performance sports car. See for yourself. The all-American legend is better than ever.